Did you know that there's a muscle on your head that determines whether your hair will be strong or weak, whether it will fall out or not, and whether you'll get wrinkles, and really, how your whole face will look? Almost everyone ignores this muscle. I don't know, maybe only a handful of people actually work on it, even though this muscle speeds up aging many times over. This is Dr. Alice with you, and today I'll tell you what the aponeurosis is hiding, the muscle that can change your appearance. So make sure to watch this video until the end. I'll show you simple exercises you can do at home and see instant results. So, why is the aponeurosis so important for our beauty? Let's break down the anatomy. In this anatomical illustration, you can see the occipital frontalis muscle. What we call the aponeurosis, or the scalp, is essentially the occipitofrontalis muscle. It has an occipital part. This is the occipital muscle right here, and the frontal muscle in this area. And here, this is connective tissue, a dense fascia, what we call the aponeurosis, or the scalp. And all of this is muscle. This muscle can tense up and go into spasm. And the thing is, it doesn't work in isolation. This muscle is connected to the neck muscles, especially the muscles on the back of the neck. And if the spine is tense, if the neck is tense, then this tension is transferred to the back of the head and specifically to the occipital belly of this muscle. If the neck is tense, if the occipital area is tense, then this starts to pull on the entire aponeurosis, this whole dense fascia, and this can create tension in this area. That's why, in fact, it doesn't matter whether you have tension in your back or in your neck. This will cause chronic tension in the area of the aponeurosis, the fronto-occipital muscle. Or, on the other hand, if you do a lot of thinking, you're under stress, and a lot of tension accumulates here. This will also create strong tension in the area of the scalp aponeurosis. What's the first thing that suffers because of this? It's the hair that suffers, because right above the aponeurosis is the scalp, where there are billions, well, millions of hair follicles where hair grows. But the most interesting aspect is that, notably, anatomically, the hair on the back of our head, in particular, and on the temples, has better blood supply than the hair on the frontal parietal area and the crown. In other words, this area has poorer blood supply anatomically. I studied scientific materials and research, and I found one study where it was discovered that in the areas where men lose hair due to androgenetic alopecia, blood flow is reduced by 2.6 times, and the oxygen concentration is decreased by 40%. And for hair to grow well, we need oxygen and good blood supply. And even though men have androgenetic alopecia, it is related to male hormones. And indeed, the hair that grows in the frontal and crown areas is more sensitive to male hormones. But when combined with poor blood flow, this can increase the effect of male sex hormones, and hair starts to fall out faster. And there are also scientific studies that say that overall tension in the aponeurosis is also one of the key factors for why hair falls out. And that's why it's so trendy now to use infrared panels and infrared cups. For men, of course, this is a more obvious situation, but it's also relevant for women, because women often experience hair loss too. For example, when you brush your hair and see a lot of hair coming out. But why does it fall out? It's because blood flow is also disrupted. If you work on the scalp, on the aponeurosis, your hair will stop falling out, and it will become fuller and more beautiful. That was the first point. But there's another important point, which probably concerns even more people, and that's spatial beauty. Let's move on to the face. If you look here, the frontal belly, the occipitofrontalis muscle, is connected to all the facial muscles of the upper third. You see, the orbicularis oculi muscle, and here is the procerus muscle, the corrugator supercilii muscle. All these muscles are connected to the occipitofrontalis muscle. That's why if the occipitofrontalis muscle is tense, the forehead suffers first. Many wrinkles appear on the forehead, and swelling also develops. All of this is related to poor blood flow, because if the aponeurosis is chronically tense, it leads to fluid starting to stagnate under the skin in this area. Since these dense connective tissue fasciae compress the venous and lymphatic vessels, disrupting outflow. That's why the forehead starts to become uneven, lumpy, swollen, and more wrinkles appear. And at the same time, it affects the eyes as well. Because of this, you can develop drooping eyelids, a heavy gaze, and even dark circles and bags under the eyes. Wrinkles can also appear right on the bridge of the nose. And of course, this makes you look older. That's exactly why you should work on this area if you want your face to look young and beautiful. Let me give you some useful exercises that you can do at home to maintain the youth and beauty of your face and hair. So, first of all, if you have tension in your scalp, how can you check for it? Just place your hands and see how easily your scalp moves in the temple area, and especially in the crown and forehead area. You might notice that here, overall the tissues are tighter than, for example, in the temple area or at the back of your head. Go ahead and try this test yourself, and you'll see that in the frontal crown area, the tissues are actually stiffer than at the temples or the back of the head. And there you have the explanation for why hair falls out faster in this area. So, what should you do about it? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, the fronto-occipital muscle is connected to the neck. So, at the very least, you should stretch your neck a bit. That's why we do stretches like this. See? Like this. So, one hand on the back of your head, the other on your neck. And then you do these forward nodding movements. So we're stretching the muscles, especially the back of the neck and the occipital part of the fronto-occipital muscle. Okay. Do it on one side and then do it on the other side. After that, you can use the base of your palm, starting from the back of your head, and with circular motions, massage the entire occipital area and also the temporal area. First, we relax the occipital and temporal areas. Just use circular motions like this. Do it until you feel warmth, so that heat appears. And then we move up, closer to the crown of the head. And after that, start rotating and massaging the crown like this. You need to warm up the whole area until you feel heat, so that the aponeurosis becomes hot. Basically, we use the base of the palm and do it like this. Right? And after that, you can even do your forehead. Just take it and do your forehead too. Great. Now, what else can you do? You can take each strand of hair separately and make circular motions through the hair as well to stimulate the follicles themselves. Before this, you relax the aponeurosis and improved blood flow. You might notice that if you vigorously warm up the area with the base of your palm, starting from the back of your head, then the temples, and then the crown, especially rubbing this front to back zone really well, you'll feel your aponeurosis start to heat up, and warmth will appear. That means the blood flow there has increased. And after that, we take the hair, especially in the front to back part, grab the hair and start making circular motions like this. We grab the hair and make circular movements. Like that, right? All of this helps to improve and strengthen the hair follicles and directly enhances blood circulation in the hair follicles. So these are the simplest techniques you can do. There are even deeper and more complex techniques that I teach on my Mind Body Face platform. In my app, you'll find many different courses to rejuvenate face and body, your mind as well. If you want to look 5 years younger and rejuvenate, just follow the link in the description and join my course. What else can you do? There are actually simple massagers for the scalp aponeurosis. And now I'll show you. Here is this massager. It costs like next to nothing, right? You can buy it on any marketplace and it's actually really good. It has these rubber spikes and I, for example, use it too. I just take it and start rotating it like this. You can just make circular motions. What do I usually notice? If I start making circular motions and feel a bit of soreness, that means there's some tension there. I recommend starting with slow, rotating movements like this. Take it and go over your whole head. Then I get to the point where I start doing it pretty intensely. So I take it and knead the aponeurosis. And honestly, afterwards I feel like everything is burning. So these are simple tools, but the main thing is they work. Actually, I know a lot of people, both doctors and, in particular, biohackers, who do this, especially those who have problems or are prone to hair loss. Tools like these can really slow down that process. So go ahead and use them. But what else is important? I mentioned hair. But when you relax the entire aponeurosis, of course, your forehead relaxes too, and the wrinkles go away. Because if you really work through the entire scalp, your whole aponeurosis, you'll feel that your forehead becomes smoother and your face overall becomes more relaxed. So do these exercises and you can prevent hair loss and really get rid of forehead wrinkles. Now that you've done the exercise, please share your feelings in the comments. I think you'll be surprised by them. The only thing I want to say is that you shouldn't just do it once. Make it a rule to do these techniques every day for 60 to 90 days. Because if your goal is to keep your hair or see it become fuller and healthier, I recommend setting yourself a 60 to 90 day marathon like this. If you do these techniques every day for up to 3 months, you'll see great results. One important thing, 70% of viewers watch my videos without subscribing to me. And I really try, I make all these videos for you. So let's have a fair exchange of energy. I give you useful exercises every week, and you subscribe to my channel. Deal? Then I'll see you in the next videos. Bye.